Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Tony Commander J.R. Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Today is February the 17th day of the second month in the new year, Black History Month. Let's get into my lesson. Today, we are challenged on every front as African Americans, as Africans, as Americans. We are challenged. Our society is divided. We have the super rich, and now we have the super poor. Our middle class has dissipated because of the greed, the corruption, the persistent lies and deception of the American people and public over the last 4 years. Now we are at the height of mass racism, race superiority, and hatred in our nation. And we must deal with it. We must deal with it effectively because it does not only impact America, it impacts the world. And these people of our races in the United States of America, all over the world, must come to the realization that great change is needed in our world, not only in America, not only in Liberia, but in this whole wide world. So let's get into my lesson. My topics are challenges of President Joe Biden. I'm sorry for that comma in there. I always like to keep my thing spiffy and nearly witty, so let me just get that comma out of there. Challenges of President Joe Biden. Got that taken care of. The challenges of Joe Biden include dealing with President Donald Trump, the pandemic, racism, hatred, race superiority, and all these things. That's Donald Trump. He represented all those things. He and Mitch McConnell for the past 4 years, perpetuated over our society and over our people. It includes social media. It includes American culture. What is the culture of America today? Are we going to follow the culture of these little white people like Mark Zuckerberg? Or are we going to look at the diversified status of our country and deal with it from that diverse perspective instead of from one cultural perspective, which is the Caucasian or European culture? Our country can't continue on that path. So we have to re-identify everything because of the mass deception of people like Mark Zuckerberg. The mass deception of people like Mark Zuckerberg. The mass deception of racists and race supremacists and criminals like Mark Zuckerberg. We got to bring them into the folk culture. My second topic, Henry Costa versus President George Weah's Liberia regime. And my third topic, are Liberian men serious? So let's get into my first topic because I always already started with it. We see this morning on Spoon TV, he had Henry Costa. He had 6 or 7 other people on a round table discussion with Costa. I tuned into that show and I was very disgusted. Very, very disgusted. From the beginning of the show to where Costa came and started talking and they started questioning him and all these kind of things. I was disgusted because from there, it shows our people are still not serious. Look at that minister who was on the show with all his finger nail polish, yellow fingernail polish, showing it all to us like we won't see fingernail polish. That means the people not doing their job. They are just BSers, useless people. And it hurts me, when we look at the American society and we see the challenges for us as immigrants, for us as African Americans, for us as poor Americans. And that last category, all of us in it, white, black, European, Asians, whatever it is. And we have to understand where we're standing in this day and age. Because we've seen our country almost destroyed on January 6, 2021, because of racism, because of hatred that Kamala Harris is the vice president of Liberia, of America. Hatred because Joe Biden took the brave step to choose a minority as his vice president. And what's the difference between Kamala Harris and all the other Americans? No difference. She's sharp. She's intelligent. She's well educated. She's led a state. She's the senator of a state. So why can't she be the vice president of the United States of America? Why must these white people get so crazy and behave like that? And now, this is a challenge on Joe Biden. All these problems we have in our country. Right now, we got to overcome this pandemic. We're still having confusion and problems with getting the vaccines out. We're getting the vaccines into minority communities that need them most. And when we seek to get them into our own community, our community leaderships are not working hard enough to ensure that our people get the vaccines. Because we can't sit down and let other people work for us. We'll always bet the last. All the other communities not sitting down and waiting for things to come to them. Their leaderships are getting up and running behind these things. So why are we always at the bottom of the chain, at the back of the wagon, at the back of the bus, still in everything we do? And Donald Trump came and perpetuate history. He came and perpetuate racism. And you see what hurts me? People on social media like Mike Zuckerberg and Twitter, these people perpetuated and enabled Donald Trump too. They perpetuated and enabled racism and this race supremacist group and silenced people like me from the black community, talking and making my voice heard. This is the second time they have damn well punished me for 30 days because I'm saying something. And they're using the word useless as hate. Our culture can't deal with white culture no more. White culture is deceptive. White culture with people like Mike Zuckerberg are racist and controlling of our speech, suspending us and punishing us for free speech and using baby stupid words to say that we're hate words. What's so hateful about useless? You are useless, Mike Zuckerberg. You are a racist, useless man. So what hateful about that? I'm telling you about your character of racism, about your useless failure of discrimination, your useless failure of perfect perpetration of racial hatred through subtle means and using your Facebook to hurt people. Our government needs to regulate Facebook more. Mark Zuckerberg is too young, he's too immature, and he's too blind to racial justice to handle Facebook. We need more regulation of Facebook because this man cannot perpetrate racism, support race supremacist group, support Donald Trump and his racism, and silence people like me when I go to speak and use words of my subjective feelings. If you are useless, Mike Zuckerberg. What hatred is that in it? If you are ineptitude, young dummy. You are a young dummy. What's hard about that? What's hateful about that? That's my opinion about your character. So you suspend me for 30 days on this bullshit because I'm telling my people that they are immature, that they are useless. What that has to do with your race supremacist and hate situation in America? It has nothing to do with your. That's my feeling about my community. And you can't punish me for that, Mr. Racist. You can't punish me for that. You don't understand black culture. You don't understand how we exist. How you use your useless, dumb rules against people for words that express my feelings. For words that are not hateful, but realistic. For words that express how my people are behaving. Who are you to say that's hate speech? You are useless yourself, Mike Zuckerberg. I don't hate you, but I'm telling you about your character. Because you do not have the diligence to understand black culture and black people, these are the challenges Joe Biden got to face too. How do we, non-African Americans, express our voice, express our feelings, express our disgruntledness about racists like Mike Zuckerberg, who are afraid of African Americans but want to silence African immigrants? Who the hell are you, Mike Zuckerberg? When you have a worldwide platform, you better be wise enough to know that American culture is not the only culture. We are American citizens. And if you are presenting the views of all Americans, you cannot be impartial and use foolish words to be classified as hate. If you are scared of your own people, the same races that you people breed in this country, we got to monitor America's culture. We got to change this whole culture and social media aspect and rules. Because you cannot control the world number one social media institution and suspend people on foolish, useless, white societal words. If useless is a hate word to you, it's not a hate word to me because you are useless, Mr. Zuckerberg. You are an inept and you perpetuating racism. Look how you can't even get color. You're so white. Get some damn color in your skin. And Joe Biden, our President Joe Biden got to stand up like a real man. I listened to him today talking about he didn't want to talk about Donald Trump. We've been under Donald Trump and hate and all this thing enough. It's not enough, Joe Biden. This shenanigans and hate and racism has not ended. And you are at the desk. The buck stops at Joe Biden's desk. So don't come here and tell us you don't want to hear about Donald Trump when Donald Trump is an institution of himself. Racism and hatred still going on in this country. We can't decide things in Congress because of Donald Trump. Our nation is divided because of Donald Trump. People like Mike Zuckerberg are racist and need to be monitored because of Donald Trump. So how will the President of America come before us and say he doesn't want to talk about the nemesis of democracy, of peace, of unity. You got to talk about Donald Trump. What are you talking about? You got to talk about Donald Trump. Donald Trump has impeded the progress of resolving our problems with this pandemic. That's Donald Trump. That's your problem too. Donald Trump is a racist and race supremacist who is still a political threat in this country. You can sue that man or you won't sue him. Unless and until Donald Trump is taken out of politics, is taken out of our society, he is still a threat to our way of life, to black people and minorities. Nobody's speaking for my people. Al Sharpton can't speak for me. Kamala Harris can't speak for me. Van Jones can't speak for me. None of those people speaking now in America are speaking for me. They are speaking for African Americans. My people have a different plight. And our voices need to be heard. And when people like Mark Zuckerberg are the racists who won't accept certain voices and silence certain voices, that's racism. And you got to be called to the carpet, Mr. Racist. You are a threat to a united America, to the voice of all Americans. You want to control speech by suspending me for using the word useless and said I hate speech? You are a dummy, Mike Doubleback. And Donald Trump and Joe Biden, you better take the helm of this country like a man and stop talking like you're scared of Donald Trump. You're scared you don't want to. Donald Trump is still an element in our society. And you got to deal with Donald Trump. So stop all this useless shenanigans and fear and all this foolishness. If you all can't stand up to the plate like Donald Trump, then let me take over this White House chief of staff and run the show. Because we can't be scared of Donald Trump. You cannot be backing down from Donald Trump and people clapping for you. We're not going to move from a banana republic to a super third world nation. No. Stand up to Donald Trump and let the man know what he did was wrong. And you're not going to take it. We're not going to hear his name because you're not going to tolerate it. Not because you won't back away from the man. So this is my lesson, young children. Democrats got to stand up like Nancy Pelosi. That's my hero, Nancy Pelosi. She ain't backing down from this man. She wants a commission to go explore what happened on January 6th, and we get to the damn bottom of this treachery, this treacherous, treasonous behavior, and get rid of Donald Trump for good. Why we got to play this shenanigans? A useless foolishness. Suspend me for that now, Zuckerberg. You useless man. Talking about useless is a hate word. What hate in it? Your character is useless. You perpetuating racism. And you need to know, my young children, my young American children, Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson failed the bar exam 5 times. That's not an easy task. By failing it 5 times, I'm enlightened to the law. I'm enlightened to racism. I'm enlightened to discrimination. So I'm fully imbued with the understanding of constitutional law and order and dignity and pride in the United States constitutional arena. So nobody can deceive me with their useless rules and racist, useless characters to try to shut me up or silence me on some BS rules. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Mike Zuckerberg. I'm a smart African. When I take the bar five times, it's not because I want to practice law. There is no way I can practice law in this system and be as free-minded and free-speaking as I am. I would be punished. I would be disbarred. So I knew it. So my strength is to learn the law inside out, to understand when you're talking BS and punish me to be silent because you don't want to hear my voice. You are a dummy, Mike Zuckerberg. And young Sharon, he is a dummy. And there's no way this man cannot be a dummy. He's a useless dummy. So I've rested my case on this point. We got to define American culture all over again. My people are not living the life of Mike Zuckerberg family and his people. They have suppressed us for years. They have taken our daily bread for years. They have done everything. You think my children don't have the talent like Mike Zuckerberg? We got children among us that got the talent that can build a website, but we don't have the money. We don't have access to the things Mike Zuckerberg and his people got access to. That way they can sit down and make all kind of dumb, stupid, asinine rules to silence people like Commander Chesson. And when you silence me, you got to meet the fourth weight of my challenge, Mike. You are a useless, dumb idiot. And young Cherry, that is no lie. He's a racist. And I rest my case on that. Let me take a breather before I come back to my second topic. Be not deceived, young children. White, black, Asian, wherever we are, don't be deceived, or our world will be destroyed and governed by a few greedy, useless, evil men who will turn us against each other so they can get wealthy. Think, grow. If you're a Christian, understand your Christian teachings. Before I get into my second topic, I want all Liberians to know that yesterday the George Weah government put out a statement or something telling Liberian people that as of this week or next week, Liberia will be shut down. As of now, all the schools are being closed and calling for parents to take their children away because Ebola is on the border. Liberia has no closed borders. There are 15 or more points along our northern borders where people can come from Guinea and enter Liberia without being inspected, without going through checkpoints, by crossing rivers and waters and walking across stream. We got many ways to enter our countries. We depend on Guinea for food, for some of our stable food and spices. So it's imperative. George Weah-led government has no logistics, no medical treatments, staff to combat this deadly disease. This disease ravaged our country between 2013 and 2016. Why? Because of the dirt and nastiness. You cannot fight these kind of diseases if your country is overrun with dirt and feces and nastiness. And these are the things people let us talk about and blast our leaders about, and Mike Zuckerberg come in and want to suspend us because useless people who don't want to hear it complain about it. Because the same people who on these shows talking about changing Liberia, who are educated and presenting educated guests to talk about our problems, are not touching the crux of our problem. They're not touching the crux of our problem. Our problem is leadership. Our problem is organization. Our problem is planning. Our problem above all is implementation of what we plan. Because we can never do things without changing it and bringing other ideas in the middle of things. When you set goals and objectives, you cannot change them until you see whether they will fail or be successful or not. We plan these goals, and as soon as we begin to implement them, other people come who were never in the planning and come and say they can change it and do this. And this is why we always fail. This is why Darius Dillon failed. This is why LP failed. This is why CPP is failing. And it all boils down to leadership. Now let's talk about my second topic. The whole Republic of Liberia is fighting Henry Costa. This is asinine. Henry Costa has become a legacy in Liberian society. Henry Costa is young. Henry Costa ideas are not even formulated yet. Henry Costa just started going to college. Congratulations, Henry Costa. You graduating this year sometime. Congratulations. That's a very tough journey you're going to. And you're going to get your master's. When I listen to Costa, when I listen to Spoon, I listen to Sanvi, I listen to Tumbling George, I listen to Keith Hassan, I listen to that sheriff who was minister with all that fingernail polish on his hand looking like some idiot. I listen to Peabody, then I listen to Costa. There's a confused message somewhere in there. Their message does not send the seriousness of the situation in Liberia across to us. It doesn't. And Costa is still in the process of formulating his ideals. He's an immature young man, and all of them on that platform were immature. And when I say useless, and Mark Zuckerberg tells me that he doesn't understand our society. He doesn't understand the need for somebody like me who is educated to enlighten my people. Or he does understand and want to silence me so I can't educate my people. That's the two-sided coin with people like Mike Zuckerberg. They are traitors and deceitful people. So we have to watch when they punish us for useless words like useless and foolish and think and say it's against the hate law. And he perpetuated Donald Trump and all the hate groups on Facebook to be against me and my people. Then he wants to silence me for using words like useless. And that will make Mike Zuckerberg a dummy. And that's why when Liberian people sit down to talk, and everything you're talking about is compared to America, you have no examples of Liberianism to refer to as presidents in our country. Why? Because none of our damn rogues have been punished. None of our government officials have been subjected to the criminal laws and procedures of Liberia and punishment. We are a fascistic society, so we have no real men. And our men sit down to the table with educated degrees, senators, lawmakers, and all these useless people, and have no conscious thinking of the fact that if we do not have precedents to back our laws, if we do not have evidence of effective implementation, execution, and satisfaction of our laws, there can be no justice, honesty, trustworthiness in Liberia. And Mark Zuckerberg knows these things. But they don't want us to hear it because Chesson is the only man talking this thing. No other Liberian talking it. Everybody fighting. Just how we did in 1980. Fighting and praising Doe and blaming each other when the foreigners were the one who came and killed Talbot. When the foreigners who had the greater interest in killing Talbot than our Liberian people. And this thing is still going on because we are deceitful, low-thinking, uneducated minded people. Our education is here, not here. When your education is here, your eyes, what we call the third eye, it cannot exist. Now, where I'm coming from is the third eye. That I can see deception in people like Mark Zuckerberg through their punishment. I can see deception and treacherous behavior in people like Mark Zuckerberg through their behavior, their partiality, their inequality, their racism in support of racist leader. I see it because I got the third eye. Y'all can't see it, my Liberian people. African Americans, y'all can't see it because if y'all had seen it, this system would have been changed long ago. If you are Christian and have seen it, you will know a Christian can't live under these conditions of deception, lies, betrayal, and treachery, time and time again, and you're tolerated for 4 centuries, and you'll tell me you'll have vision? You'll tell me you'll have wisdom? You'll tell me you'll have Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ is not a God to go under the bed and cry when your enemies attack him. If that's your concept of Jesus Christ, then you people are lost on the gospel. And Jesus Christ can't help you. And people like Mark Zuckerberg will run over you using the law to silence you for words that useless. But you won't do it to me because my own people are idiots. My own people do not believe in themselves. They believe in Mark Zuckerberg over me. Things I tell you, you'll listen to Mark Zuckerberg. That's why they can suspend me from Facebook and we lose the message for 30 days because of useless men like Mark Zuckerberg. But these are the things we got to change in our society, and we don't change it, we'll not change Liberia. Because our leaders sit down in Liberia and have no precedence of leadership. We have no precedence of law and order. We have no precedence of punishing corrupt leaders of our country. So all our examples of leadership depends on American leadership. And American leadership is not Negro leadership. It's Caucasian leadership. It's Caucasian leadership. Because if we cannot implement America's democracy in Liberia effectively, there's something wrong with America's democracy. And Americans, there's something wrong with them. And it has come to the full view of the world now that you cannot perpetuate a racist constitutional democracy of deception, of lies, of flip-flopping with the laws and changing it over and over to benefit one group, one race, one tribe, whatever it is. These are tribalists. Mark Zuckerberg and all these racist people, KKK, they are tribalists, just like Liberia. But it just is on a bigger scale, they call it race. But they're the same tribalists. They are the Congo people of American society. You see? But they beat us and sold us. and use us as an economic means of survival. Now, the deception can't stop. The lies can't stop. The treachery can't stop. These people will go to the greatest example to destroy their own nation, their own constitutional democracy, and kill their own leaders to subject black people to enslavement, to working for them and their fathers and making them rich. And they say they're helping us. They put up all these institutions for equality. Then when we go talk, they make laws and rules to shut us up. Then when they implement it, they shut some of us up and let the racists continue broadcasting. Let the hateful people continue broadcasting to kill us. But when all the useless other people come over and just talk, make a whole lot of noise and no sense to the knowledge of legal racism, a misapplication of American law. We have nobody to stand up for us. I'm not of this culture. And just like you're saying that, always telling you, she's not of this culture either. She had to learn. I do the same. All of us who are successful in this country got to learn, got to relearn, got to continue learning. I ain't going to be ashamed because I feel American by exam, and I'm a country by exam. I'm not abreast in every aspect of American law. No. I didn't go to law school here. That's the only way you can be fully abreast of American law if you go to law school here. But if you just come to take the bar exam, you may pass. You may pass. But you got to study and memorize everything on that bar exam. I'm too old to do that. So I didn't want to memorize things. All the Liberian people that have taken the bar exam here and passed have attended school here. Yes. Full-time school. If they work that were in the school, maybe selling the popcorn and soda and things like that. Generally, you see the children in the school working. But they didn't have a life like me. I had a life outside school. The things the student could get, I couldn't get it. I was a graduate. So all of that didn't help me. And I know to be a voice in this country, to help my people here in Africa, I can't practice law. I got to be a soldier, as I've always been, and that was Jesus Christ planned my life. Because Liberia needs men. Liberia needs leaders. Liberia needs people who can look at all these children talking and make sense of what they're saying. Because our country is in grave trouble with leadership problems. Our country is in grave trouble with honesty problem. Our country is in grave trouble with trustworthiness issues. Now let's go into Costa. We know Liberia is closing down soon because of Ebola. They're closing all the schools this week or next week. This isn't out yet. Nobody talking about it. Our children missing so much education. I was thinking about my little nieces and nephews in Liberia. When do they have the chance to learn? They're out of school now. People taking their children out of school and putting them in a room and hiding them because they know what Corona, not even coronavirus. We got so many damn sickness in Liberia. And what is their name? Ebola. They know what Ebola does. They know how our doctors and nurses die. And what would change the situation? Ebola is Ebola. People will die. Now we got to pray to God that this thing does not enter Liberia. We got to pray to God. We don't have the health care system. We don't have anything in place to help us. You see? And yet the same deception going on. They ask Costa all these questions. They asking questions about his laissez-passer. And those people were right. If you coming through the border with a passport in Liberia and you got a false signature, you go into jail. Liberia is not America. Liberia is not America. So I listen to these stupid people. That's why I call them useless. And Mark Zuckerberg ain't understand this thing. He talking about a hit. Then I hit the people who don't know our country. Where in the world you will go to Liberia with a Liberian passport with different picture of false signature of false information and they will let you go? They will not let you go. Nowhere in Africa. You go into jail. You go into jail. But they were scared of Costa. And that's the problem with George Weah regime right now. If you're going to punish the man for the law, punish the man for the law. If you're scared of Costa, leave him the hell alone. But that was wrong. And the second thing is, you got all the expediters all over Liberia doing things for people coming to Liberia doing it fast. If Liberian people depend on the expediters to get their documents for them, they are responsible for any wrong on the document. It behooves Liberians who want documents to go to the embassy and get laissez-passer from the U.S. embassy, from the Liberian embassy in America. That's how I entered Liberia. I didn't get no laissez-passer. Laissez-passer is for regional people, regional documentation of people who want to travel from Sierra Leone to Liberia, from Guinea to Liberia. That's where laissez-passer is used for. Laissez-passer under ECOWAS was a means of reducing the use of passports among African nations. Not coming from America and Europe, how you use a damn laissez-passer to come from the United States of America to Liberia when you're supposed to have a Liberian passport? What is the use of Liberian passports? That what you're selling all the damn passport. You're stealing everything. But people like Mark Zuckerberg, they want you to know the truth. They ain't care. They're just following rules, and they're the same racist, useless people in America. But they don't care about us. They don't care about our concerns. This is why American culture today is not the culture of American people. It's white culture. Our poor people are suffering. Our children use more profanity than anything in this world. They're hardy, useless people will stop us from reaching to our children. I understand. There are certain things we got to be mindful of. Certain profanities can't come on TV, like Prophet Key profanity. You can't use it for children. That's adult stuff. So we can't blame Prophet Key when he cussed. Put him on after 11 o'clock. He has a constitutional right to express himself, but he cannot express himself during several hours because the words he used are not conducive for our children. Many of your women, look at all the topics you're talking about love and all. Look at Deborah, what her name? I can't remember Deborah. Croman. Look at Deborah Croman. Look at Amy Writer. Look at all the people coming up and using all these body parts profanities. These are not things permitted for children. But now, Donald Trump has opened the way in America. We can use shit. We can use a shithole. Those words are permissible because the president used it and people like Mike Zuckerberg and Twitter permitted it. So why would they censure me and block my free speech because of the useless, stupid thing they did themselves? They open the door for some and won't punish others. You can't do that. That's racism. That's partiality. That's unfairness. So don't come here and play this shenanigans game with me. And that's why I'm telling my Liberian people. Costa was wrong. He can't go to Liberia with a lesser pass that he got through an expediter that he paid. That's not an official government official. They're not people Liberian people hired, the Liberian people government hired to help people expedite their passports and things. If you give your money to those people and there's a discrepancy on your passport, you suffer. You suffer. And the Liberian government is so damn weak and useless. They're taking lesser passes for people coming from abroad. What's the use of a passport? You're not selling the damn passport so much, it ain't worth nothing. So that the first thing, Costa was wrong. He needs to go to Liberia and explain himself. Clear himself. All that stupidness he was talking was wrong. Liberia is not America. And all those useless men there were useless because they're talking law that does not relate to our country. America is not Liberia. Liberian laws are not American laws. And you useless people better understand that. And Mike Zuckerberg, you are useless too for punish people for this stupid thing. If the people are useless, they are useless. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with their character, with their thinking, with their leadership. You know, we got laws in Liberia. If I were in Liberia, you come with a passport with a false signature, you go into jail. You go into jail. There would be no bond. There will be no bond, no bail, nothing. You're a flight risk. How did you get a lesser pass to come into Liberia when you need a passport? How can you stay in America and send in Liberia when we got consulate in America? What the hell is our consulate in America for? For people to stay here and call Liberia? This is the wrong that's going on in our country. This is the stealing and corruption and evil that's going on in our country against our people. That there's no order, there's no law. So that is that on that lesser passage. Costa got to go back to Liberia, submit to the Liberian government, and tell them everything they want to know in court. And the Liberian government is so weak and stupid. Instead of calling the man as a suspect and arresting him and let this case go through, no matter whether Costa is a Liberian or not, I don't care. He's a flight risk. You see how he escaped Liberia in the boat? Say his life was in danger? Yes. But George Weah is bringing all this thing upon his administration. These are things we don't need in Liberia. For our government to be fighting one man, a young boy, an immature man. Our government is so frightened of this man. Why? Because our leadership is as immature and useless as Pastor. They're all in the same group. And that's what's happening. Now let's go to this thing with Dr. Chesson. I was under the impression that CASA COP is part of CPP. I've always been under that impression. CASA encouraged that kind of impression by affiliation with that club. So now the CPP club is failing. He wants to back out of it. You know it. Because there's no way CASA will go support Chesson Foundation. And he knows he's one of the big voices for CPP. So that is deception right there to the Liberian people. Then you come telling us CPP doesn't pay your rent, doesn't do this. But you knew all of that. You knew all of that when you took the full fund with them. If you wanted money, you should have demanded it from them. You should have come out and tell us, CPP, you're going to chip in and support me. I cannot continue to do this thing without financial support. Then you let us know that you have a need for support. And CPP is not giving you that support. But you come with an inner fight and this personal feeling about you, your children, all that. You should have thought about that before you joined the revolution. Every revolution has sacrifices. And it's not the matter of the sacrifice. It's a matter of how you handle the explanation of things you got to do that relate to your struggle. So now we have been under this pressure all the time that Henry Costa is part of CPP. Now, here's the flip. Here's the flip. And it generates a lot of concern for Liberian people. Because here is our new political alliance growing. The deceitfulness already with what about name? Darius Dillon and the Liberty Party. Those people are deceitful people. Now you the other man, the people depending on, you come and say you're not, and CPP not doing it for you, they're not supporting your family. You knew all of that before you went to CPP. You never demanded money for CPP. I'm Rodney Chesson. I tell people you don't support me, I ain't supporting you. That's my rules. I don't care who you are, you give me money, I ain't coming to your aid. I ain't supporting you because I am no stooge. I'm not a politician. People know I'm not a politician. I curse everybody. And does not hate Mike Zuckerberg, that uselessness. You better get to it yourself, you useless man. So this is the whole thing about my country. The whole Republic of Liberia seemed to be concerned about Henry Casa alone. And Henry Casa has a right to be immature. He has a right because we have no leaders. All our educated people are immature. Look at all the men sitting with Casa, laughing and talking about what he was saying, joking about it. That's nothing to joke about. Our people are dying because of this stupid bullshit. Our people are being hungered because of this. Our country is at a standstill because of this. Our people are dying because of this. And all these men come here and smile and laugh because they're not living in Liberia. They're not in Liberia. And the ones who in Liberia are benefiting from the government, freezing the Liberian society. All the expediters in Liberia. I want Liberia. I didn't even have to go in the building to get my license. I told you. I paid the guy right outside there. And my license was valid. Nobody ever questioned my license in Liberia. But these are the things when government can't pay the people, when government can't institute law and order, when government is dysfunctional, when government is native, what do you expect for the people? Our people are hungry. No work for the people. The people who work can't get paid for months. Then you expect there to be no corruption? You expect there to be no unscrupulous expediters? Our country is to blame. Our leadership is to blame of Liberia in every sector. The president, the church, the schools, the organization, every leadership is responsible for the dysfunctional nature of Liberian society today. And we can't escape it. It's a reality, and we must face it, and we must own it. Right? What the other thing here? You see, so I am going to talk about Castle Foundation because it's deception. It's all about money. And that what Costa told you. He tired talking and nobody giving him money. But he's not going about it the right way. He should let the party know that he needs money to keep functioning, to pay his staff. If you're a part of a party and you don't let the leadership know that if you are a component part of that party and running a news network that upholding the views and opinions of people who are supportive of CPP and COP, you got to need support from CPP. But if you don't, excuse me, if you don't demand it, if you don't, excuse me, if you don't demand it, if you don't outright make pleas of concern to the people, how the people will know your problem? Then you just jump up and join another charity that is also linked to a political party. There's no way you can say that, Casa. There's no way. And that charity is linked to a political party. And when you form an alliance with an opposition party's charity, that's a wrong signal you send to your people. Because if you need money, CPP should be able to help you. CPPians should be able to send you support if you are a main component of CPP. But you can't be a main component of CPP, then all of a sudden you jump and start supporting the opposition, and you tell us, oh, they don't give you no money. Did you tell us that before? Was that a concern of yours before you switched? That wasn't a concern. So this is the same deception, flip-flopping, Only Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson has no evidence of flip-flopping, have no records of deception and lies, have no record of joining any damn political party in Liberia. So Mike Zuckerberg is not hit. Our people are naturally useless, and they need somebody to tell them it. Why is it hit? I'm telling my own people, we got problems. We got issues. Why are you interjecting yourself in my society and suspending me for my speech for? You're an idiot, Mike Zuckerberg. And on my third lesson, Liberian people, it's almost an hour. This is the same seriousness I'm talking about our concerns. Look at those men on Swan TV. Even after that man left, listen to the kind of foolishness they were saying. Our country is in trouble. Our country has so young people that are depending on presidents of other nations instead of making sure that there are presidents of implementation of laws in our country and punishment for those who violate our law. We still here using America and Americans as an example of violating laws. When all the criminals are in Liberia, we got billions of dollars missing, $1 million missing. We got criminals all over the place running for positions, in position, and they have not been punished. And we're talking here about punishment in other societies that have exerted control over their democracy. And we have no understanding, no appreciation, and no control of our democracy. Liberian men are not serious. I'm not serious. You're not serious. Why would I be a leader in Liberia and keep pointing to America when my laws have precedents in them of how I should punish my people, how I should punish my criminals? We have a criminal procedure and criminal law. Why would somebody else come and show me how to execute my criminal laws? That means I do not have sound thinking men in my country. That means I have only useless educated men, Mike Zuckerberg. That's what it means, man. Please, come on, man. Don't bring your useless white thinking in my educational system. Don't bring your white bullshit in my educational system and try to silence me over bullshit. It's hurtful when people use their culture to punish me for what is happening in my culture and they don't understand. They don't understand our speech. They don't understand our actions. Nothing. Then you won't punish me because people understand white society and know how to use you useless people to punish us and silence the educated people in our society. I am a damn lawyer of Liberia. How many lawyers you got on Facebook talking about the evil shit in Liberia? Then you won't punish me? Huh? You immature, useless man won't punish me? This is the thing we're talking about. And these are the things, these are the people who perpetuate hate in our country. Why? Because they silence the people who want to bring our men to consciousness, who want to bring our people to self-awareness, who want to bring to our people to the understanding that we can be empowered by our own damn law and we don't need no foreigners to guide us in the ways that our fathers have laid down for us. But we keep doubting ourselves. We keep doubting our laws. We keep doubting our abilities. We keep making ourselves inferior to other people. I rest my case, my chair. It's 1 hour. My class is done. We can talk about this inferior nature of black society. It's not only in Liberia. It's every day in black society. We have no confidence in ourselves. We have no dignity and pride in our own strengths. It has been taken from us so long. And people like Mike Zuckerberg continue to do it by using the law to silence us over stupid bullshit. My children, have a good day. The teaching of the black community must go. Bye-bye.